and we'd normally be out for a walk this evening, but Anita's not feeling too well, so she's taken the paracetamol and off to bed, and hopefully tomorrow she'll start to feel a little bit better. We were going to go down to Palmanova because we've been contacted by Dion. Dion wanted us to come down to meet some friends who were over. Robert McPartland, who'd been watching our YouTube channel for some time, particularly during COVID, and was really enjoying the videos. And Robert says that it's helped him to get through the difficult times that we've all had over this last 2 years now. So sorry Robert, we've not made it down this evening, but hopefully we'll be able to get down in the next day or two when Anita's feeling a little bit better, and maybe just say hello to you. When we start our videos down in Palmanova, we usually start with the heart, and we start the video there and introduce it. That particular beach is becoming a bit of an experiment by the local council as a no smoking beach, and so people are going to be told that they can't smoke on that particular beach. It's happening on other beaches on the island, but in Palmanova that's the particular one that's being used as part of the experiment, and hopefully try and clean up the area. The problem really is that people who smoke quite often just put the stub out and leave it into the sand, and over time you can imagine that thousands of people use that beach, and many of them are smokers, and it ends up with lots of cigarette butts, which well, they're just not very nice for the rest of the family and the children to be digging in the sand. Some of them eventually get into the sea, and they're quite slow at decomposing. So if we can get rid of those, that would be great, and Calvia County Council have actually taken the first step to do that. Some other local news, double good news for Rafael Nadal, or triple I suppose. He recently won the Roland Garros tennis tournament, and he's now started doing some training in Santa Ponsa, which is the only proper grass court that we have on the island. That's a good sign, because maybe he's planning to go to Wimbledon. It was not so sure after Roland Garros whether he'd actually do that. But that's not really the good news. Good news started when he was invited by the local government to be presented with an accolade where he is being recognised by the local government as someone who promotes the island. It's well deserved. He does a really good job at that. But the really, really good news is that he and his wife are expecting their first child. Great news, Rafa, and in the next few months we'll find out a little bit more about that. In recent weeks, the TV has been covering the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, and people, I think, throughout the world have been sort of glued to it. I must say it wasn't that interesting to me. But here in Mallorca we have our own trial that's going on, and predicted to be the longest trial ever in the Baleares. And it involves a man named Cursach and his empire. And as tourists of the island, you're probably saying, well, what's that got to do with us? Well, Cursach, as the empire of Cursach, included some really quite notable places, including BCM in Magaluf and Tito's in Palma, plus several other places dotted around the island, particularly down in the south and southwest. Well, he was arrested some time ago, and nothing too much has happened during COVID, but now the trial's actually started, and the whole trial seems to have got spun on its head, and it seems now that it's becoming more of a trial of the police than a trial of Cursach himself. There seems to be have been a lot of corruption going on, and a lot of the cases against the Cursach empire have been dropped, and new charges have been made. It's predicted to last at least another year, maybe more than that, and well, who knows what's going to come out of it. As you've probably seen in one of the other videos I've made, the Tito nightclub has been sold. It's pretty much in poor repair. So Tito's, which is on the Paseo Maritimo, is now closed down. To the side of it, they've done quite a lot of demolition work, and there's a road being planned for that area. And the Tito's name is actually going to continue in BCM, which is now open, I believe, and with the new Tito's down below in the basement of BCM. The Tito's nightclub itself has been sold to the Flucher family. Flucher, famous for hotels and for shoe companies in Inca, and they are going to redevelop the site. Probably more to be seen on that, because the same family have also bought another of Cursach's empire and intend to turn that into some really high quality club. Not my sort of thing, but well, again, it remains to be seen what's going on there. Something that caught my eye in the newspaper today was that Air Nostrum, one of the local airlines that runs flights between the islands and to the mainland, are planning to run airships between here and the mainland, and that really could be quite an interesting move. Airships are much greener than aeroplanes. They use much less fuel. One issue with them is that they use they don't use hydrogen, they use helium now. Helium's totally non-flammable, perfectly safe gas, but it's quite expensive and it's in relatively short supply. But the actual idea of using helium airships is quite an attractive one from the green point of view. Anita's flight here, if you've not already seen it, has been recorded and is available on YouTube, and it shows that she had very little in the way of issues coming here to Mallorca. The only thing was Bristol Airport was a bit crowded, but I guess we'd expect that at this time of the year. And I heard today of a friend from the UK who returned from his holiday, was staying in Santa Ponsa, and he's gone back, and again no particular issues at all with the airports. So hopefully those issues that were happening earlier on are beginning to sort themselves out. We do, however, have a few clouds on the horizon. Ryanair, some of the Ryanair staff are threatening to strike, as are some of the air traffic controllers. Hopefully all that will be sorted out and it won't actually happen. Often these things get called off at the last minute when talks are held. Some interesting news though, in looking at the UK, one of the big things in one of the big headlines over the last 24 hours has been this flight which was to take refugees from the UK to Rwanda for them to be settled over there and processed over there. Well, that's got a Mallorca connection, because the flight that was due to take them was a Spanish flight. It's now returned apparently to Madrid, but it seems as though it may well have been a Mallorca-based airline that was going to take them. So we do have a little connection with that too. On a serious note, I actually noticed in the paper quite a few accounts of people drowning or getting into real serious difficulties while swimming in the sea, or even in swimming pools. So do be particularly careful, and luckily one of the people that was really having problems out at sea was saved by one of the lifeguards. We've already had several losses of life. Happens every summer, but if it can be prevented, it'd be better. So please take care if you're in the water. The Monty Python Fawlty Towers star John Cleese is also due onto the island later this week, and he's be doing his one-man show. Not sure I like the title. It's called The Last Time to See Me Before I Die, but he is a great entertainer, full of wonderful humour, and that's on Friday this week. So if you're here, there are still tickets available, I believe. It's at the Auditorium in Palma, right on the seafront. A few weeks ago we went to an exhibition at the Caixa Forum. Caixa is a bank here, but they do lots of cultural events, and we went to the one on ancient Egypt. Really interesting, and a lot of artefacts, all the artefacts had come over from the British Museum. So they do these things from time to time. The next one is actually Apollo 11, which something is close to my heart. Always been fascinated by space, and I can actually remember the 1969 first moon landing of Apollo 11. So it's until October, so there's plenty of time to go and see it, but it's something I'll be heading out to have a look at and dragging Anita along. I'm not sure how interested she's going to be with that. On the football front, it's fairly quiet. All the footballers are taking a well-earned break. We'll be coming back in the next couple of weeks to start training for the new season, which starts early on in August. The stadium itself is undergoing a massive revamp. Much of the sunny side has been demolished and rebuilt, and all of that's got to be open for the beginning of the season. The manager, though, needs a lot of new players. A lot of players have gone. You've seen that Manolo Reina and Salva Sevilla have left us. Two great players, two great performers on the occasions. And I saw today that the goal of the season was actually from Salva Sevilla. Brilliant shot from well outside the box. But the team there have been appointing new players or looking for new players, and the latest one is Clément Grenier, French midfielder. Didn't see much of him last season, but what we did see looked promising, so he's been signed for the next year or two, and hopefully he can fill the big boots that Salva Sevilla has left. Still looking to sign Majorca, who is the goal scorer. Hopefully will go be the goal scorer for next season. Problem is the price. It's going to be most of the budget for Real Mallorca if they decide to sign him. Anyway, there's time for that, so more updates on that as they come. And just to finish with the news, it's been hot. It's been very hot over the past few days. I know in the UK it's also getting pretty warm. Here it's become quite uncomfortable. People just sitting inside with the air conditioning on. Certainly that's what we were doing this evening before Anita went to bed. And it's going to continue for the next day or two. So we have alerts when the temperature gets really hot. And so at the moment we're on a yellow alert. And that just means just take care, take precautions, drink plenty of water, and keep in the shade. And that applies to everybody. If you're coming here on holiday, it's going to be really hot. Just be really careful on the beach. Lots and lots of sun cream, and use those parasols to keep you in the shade if you're going to stay outside. Well, I think that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.